is make it.
It sounds like a very different strategy than lawn signs. Might be more effective too.
Yeah, the lawn signs, we've done lawn signs. The lawn sign stays out there for a week, and then, someone in the house is like, that lawn sign is ugly. It's got to go, or it flies away in a hurricane or whatever. So, yeah, basically, Sunvoy is a lawn sign that lasts 30 years, right? Because
Yeah, well,
it's like,
yeah, this has been a great demo, Joe. Thank you.
oh, yeah. No, there's so much more to it. And obviously, we talk to installers that they want to focus on the referral and the sales and marketing piece. So they want to focus on the service piece. So I try to tailor every demo to what that installer needs. But I appreciate you allowing me to show it to you at a high level, Al.
Yeah, that's great. That's a lot of great insights in there, and I think the bragalots is a cool term. I haven't heard that term before, but it sounds like based on that last piece you're showing around the social media, the referrals, the bragalots in general, that you're seeing sort of a different approach here for solar installers to enter new markets and expand into existing markets. Am I reading that right? That this is more strategic than just problem solving?
Oh, totally. Yeah. I can't tell you how many solar installers, after I've shown them the demo that I just showed you, their first question is, can I have exclusive rights to Sunvoy in my territory? I don't want my competition to have this. And of course, I have to say, no, actually, we even sell it to our competitors in the DC area because we believe that this is going to have a big impact on the solar industry and spread solar all over the place. So yeah, I mean, there are a lot of companies that are using this as a distinguishing feature to say like, hey, we have this app, we have this customer portal where you're going to be able to get all your information, all your energy data, track your project. And that's a unique value proposition to those homeowners. And now they're expanding into multiple states with that value proposition.
Now, if I have to get into a new market, what it's going to show on some of those mapping tools is that there's nobody in that space. How do you think Sunvoy helps enter into new markets or adjacent markets?
Well, imagine that you're in a state in the Midwest and you've installed a few thousand systems and you want to go into another state that maybe hasn't been very solar friendly. Maybe it doesn't have one-to-one net metering. Maybe it doesn't have SRECs or solar subsidies. But the utility rates are climbing and you see an opportunity to move into that state. Well, this is to me one of the biggest value propositions. You go into that state with Sunvoy and you're legitimizing yourself as a vertically integrated installer that cares about the brand, that has other systems in other areas that you can show. That is a distinguishing feature, in my opinion, because a lot of times solar installers, little companies will go into a new market and they won't have a whole lot of brand equity built up, right? They're just two guys in a truck with a spreadsheet going out, knocking it out every day, which I've been that before, and it's fine. It's a tough slog, but if you've got this infrastructure behind you and you can show that to customers, which we do, our sales team shows Sunvoy to prospective homeowners every single day, and it provides a ton of legitimacy. That is the kind of thing that can help you really grow in a new market without having to invest in billboards and TV commercials and digital ads. Now, maybe you want to do that stuff too, but this is basically a marketing engine in a box that you can just roll out into a new market.
Yeah, it reminds me of an adage, right? With the two guys in the truck. There are two types of companies in the world: companies that are good at what they do, and companies that are good at saying that they're good at what they do. And it sounds like Sunvoy, especially with its kind of ethical alignment and its focus on transparency and sharing information, is trying to merge those two together a little bit more, make it easier to be someone who's good at what they do and also good at telling people that they're good at what they do.
Well, and that's the reason that we have that reporting dashboard. So we're not just showing homeowners what it's going to look like from their perspective. We show them the installer side of Sunvoy and say, look, we're going to actively monitor your system for 30 years. I can show you demonstrable proof that your system is going to produce what I say it's going to produce because I have that data to the 100th decimal place. And so you can see what our entire fleet is doing in real time right now. That is radical transparency. That has never existed in the solar industry. And that's the kind of thing that we need to legitimize and normalize solar so that you're not just going in with a concept, right? You're not just going in with an idea or explaining something narratively. You are showing them an entire infrastructure that's been built, and that makes solar seem normal and functional. And that's something we're really proud of.
So put your hand on a crystal ball, and what do you think solar looks like as an industry in the next decade? And what role is Sunvoy playing in that decade?
Well, that's a great question. It's funny. We kind of have a crystal ball in a sense because we can see what's going on in Europe and Australia right now. Did you know in Australia, they've got something like 20, 30% of people have solar? I mean,
Oh wow.
it's like a normal appliance. Go over to Europe. In Europe, it's half the cost of many of the markets in the United States. Now, some of that we can control, some of that we can't, right? Some of that is tariffs. We have a lot of tariffs on solar panels here in the United States, which is a big reason that we're seeing more domestic manufacturing. That's not going to be related to Sunvoy, at least not today. There's a lot of things like ease of permitting, right? So in some of these countries, like Germany, as I understand it, and Australia, they have a central permitting system or a set of policies that makes it a lot easier for solar installers to get the approvals that they need from the county or the local authority and the utility to install a solar system, interconnect a solar system. We have 18,000 authorities having jurisdiction in the United States, and all of them have different rules and different systems and different procedures, and sometimes they change their mind every day. That increases the cost a lot. Now, there's a little bit Sunvoy can do with that. We want to automate the permitting and interconnection piece for solar installers, and we're going to be working that over the next decade to make that easier. But that's a huge lift. That's our pie in the sky vision. So we hope to help with that a little bit. But I think the piece that's probably as important as anything, obviously those are going to bring the price down, which just organically makes it easier for people to go solar and find an ROI from it. But I really do think the big piece is hearing your friends and family are going solar, right? And so, what we're going to be working on over the next few years that I am just so excited about is we're going to be building a unconventional lead generation platform, right? And I'll give you a little sneak peek at it conceptually. This new announcement to the world. We're going to build a platform called Sunvoy.solar that is going to be an unconventional lead generation platform for this reason. It's not going to allow anyone and everyone in the world who can pick up a hammer and buy a truck to be on that platform. It's going to be top tier installers within the Sunvoy network, right, who have signed a code of ethics, who have at least 4 stars on multiple platforms, who have a track record of profitability and solvency within their companies, that whenever a homeowner goes to that site, they know that they're getting a reputable solar installer. And that doesn't exist today. There really is nothing like that. And that, to me, that's my life's work for the next decade, because I've seen how much predatory behavior is out there in the solar industry. And it is, at least in the United States, I can't speak for other countries, but it is absolutely egregious. And part of the reason is because homeowners don't know where to go to find a reputable solar installer because it doesn't exist. So as we build this Sunvoy network, as we get more and more reputable solar installers, well, now we've got a place for homeowners to go to find a reputable solar installer, right? Where they can put in their address. They can get a value of solar for their home based on the amount of sun that's hitting their roof and shade and the angle of their roof and their house. They can get an indicative level of what solar is going to do for them and maybe energy storage. And then they get connected with a solar installer in the Sunvoy network that is vetted. There is literally no place right now to go to find a vetted solar installer in this way. So that's something that I think is absolutely critical beyond the tariffs, beyond cutting some of the red tape, a lot of which is out of our control. I think that homeowners want to have a reputable place to go and find a good solar installer that they know is going to do good work, that they know is going to stand behind their work for 30 years. because that just doesn't exist right now.